He's an 8-time Louisiana Association of Broadcasters Award winner. And he snapped a ball through his legs.
Why does your name get to go?
Anyway.
This is Scone T.
Because they made us.
Can you feel it, Matt? Let's go, dude. LSU, Alabama, time to turn the tide.
It's not Saturday yet.
Call me the Moon Boy.
What does that mean?
Well, actually, nothing now, because I thought I read the other day that maybe the moons don't affect the tide, like the moon doesn't affect the tide like we used to. But
Moon Boy. Tide,
let's say it still does. Call me the Moon Boy, because we're about to beat that shit back.
Okay, it's Scone T. I'm Matt. He's tons of fun. We are at Oliver Twist in Baton Rouge. It is Bama Week. We're glad to be here. We're here every Wednesday live at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. You can watch us on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube, 104.5 ESPN Facebook page. If you're watching live, smash that like button. We appreciate you for being there. If you're watching on demand, please do the same. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast app, please subscribe up to the podcast. We do appreciate you for being here.
Rate it and review it. Rate it and review it as well. That helps a lot. I know it's annoying, but it helps a lot.
It is LSU-Bama week. So you just let out this sort of guttural yell there to start the show, which you normally do on Whiskey and Wine after LSU wins a game.
Yeah, but I'm fucking fired up. Matt, okay? I'm not doing what I did last year, where I allowed myself to be kowtowed like some meek little mewling kitten, some little feckless piece of shit, okay?
What happened last year?
I just never got my hopes up. Even when LSU was throwing into the end zone to win the game, I was sitting there at Don Juan stone-faced, closed off to any emotion. I've been hurt too many times. My alligator skin had built up too thickly. I was essentially a human piece of bark. Look at that, Ross Dellinger, let's go!
Oh, Delly's here.
But the point of this, Matt,
yes.
Never again.
Yes.
Never again will I allow myself to be ground into submission. Never again will I allow myself to be hardened by cynicism. So I am going into that two touchdown dogs. I don't give a fuck. Okay? I'm going on with a full heart, clear eyes, can't fucking lose. I don't know if I'll win, but I can't fucking lose.
Man, you are really something right now.
I've been making the Alabama press tour today, so I've essentially been working on my wrestling heel material all day long.
How many interviews have you done or will you do this week?
So today I did my show. I did an immediate roundtable at 10:20. Then I did the AMP show at noon, Snaps at 1. Did Jake and Doreen at 4. And then I just did Steve Moulton and Wes Neighbors before I came in here. So it's been a lot of shit talking today.
I mean, was that just today or is like every day? The Bama week is Bama week for us is crazy because in a given week, and I've explained this before, in a given week you do a lot of reciprocal radio. Like, you go on a certain market, they come on with you, that sort of thing. You have your Arkansas people, your Mississippi State, whatever. When it's LSU-Bama week and both teams are good, like everybody in the league wants. Like I've done Arkansas, I've done Vanderbilt radio. I've done like all of them this week. I'll do 30 interviews this week in other markets, which is really cool because it does speak to this game mattering again, which it felt like for a while we got to a point where it didn't.
Hence my attitude last year.
But last year you were still just 2 years removed from 2019. 2020 was a whitewashing the last time the game was here. And yes, last year LSU, it looked like the team had given up and they were going to Tuscaloosa to face that great offense. And LSU played a hell of a ball game and Bama probably sleptwalked a little bit. But yeah, I would compare it very similarly to what happened with the Texas A&M Alabama game this year.
Yeah, that's fair.
Where A&M really had no business being in that game with Alabama, yet they had basically a 2-point play to win the game.
Unbelievable that Haynes King somehow drove down. Like, I get the offensive struggles. They didn't have Bryce Young, right? Yeah. And this is an Alabama offense that will look completely mortal if they don't have Bryce Young. Bryce Young, though, is a god. He is immortal. He is incredible, which is why I love this so much. Like, it's actually been one of my main attack angles is, Matt, tell me if I'm being hyperbolic. Outside of year one in Alabama, if Nick Saban loses this game as a 2-touchdown favorite against an LSU team with a transfer quarterback, 2 true freshman starting tackles, 39 scholarship players at the beginning of the offseason, missing their best player in Mason Smith. If Nick Saban loses this game, which then costs him a chance for a national championship this year, that has got to be the biggest failure of the Saban era at Alabama. I mean, Bryce Young is the best quarterback they have ever had, and if he does not win a championship as a starting quarterback, that is complete and utter failure, especially relative to Alabama expectations.
I guess I hadn't thought of it because I don't really think that much about Alabama's history or that context about it, but I think that's probably a fair commentary.
Good, and you know what? I want them to feel that failure. I want to be the one responsible for that. What does Arnold say in Conan, right? What is best in life? To defeat your enemies and hear the lamentations of their women. And I'll add on to bathe in their blood and to sow their fields with salt so they'll never grow crops again. I want to be the one that breaks the psyche of Alabama, that turns them against Saban, that makes Saban feel old and want to retire and go out to pasture. I want to break him. I want to kill him.
I would just like LSU to win because if they do, it basically means you're going to go to the SEC championship game. Like all that shit you just said sounds fine and good. I really don't care about any of that.
I don't even give a fuck about the SEC championship game. That's where I'm at.
Am I going to is this going to be an hour of me saying 5 words and then you jumping on with some fucking wrestling promo again? And I'm not going to be able to get a fucking coherent thought out all night?
It could be because I got some poutine in front of me. What we call it, the Poitras poutine. I mean, my stomach's fired up. My heart's fired up. I'm in a great mood tonight. I'm ready to fight, bro.
I don't want to fight.
But I do.
Well, don't hit
everyone.
Me.
Everyone. There's no quitting this stallion.
So Chewy Gutierrez did ask, is that the Whistle Pig? Well, it's a Whistle Pig. This is the Whistle Pig Boss Hog. This is the 8. This is from last year. The 9 is about to be released. I never had the 8, so Wiggins was good enough to say, well, we'll let you try it. So I was like, great. So, but the break-even pour tonight is actually 4 Roses Small Batch Select $4 pours next week. That's some pretty exciting news. Next week, they're breaking out a 29-year Crown.
Good God.
It's about a $400 bottle.
A little old for my taste.
Pours would be about $75.
Damn.
They're going to be $15 pours next
Ooh,
week. Like it's one
go.
where I would highly, highly, highly recommend if you've been on the fence. Like that's one where you're probably never going to get a chance to drink that for $15. So really good option to come next week and give that.
It is kind of insane to think about drinking something that is literally older than you.
It's sat in a barrel for 29 years.
I mean, wait, 39 or 29?
29.
Oh, okay, never mind.
29.
I thought you said 39.
No, 29.
So nearly as old as me. That is fantastic.
Craig Duga asks, is that this year's Boss Hog or last? This is last year's Boss Hog. The new one has not been released yet. The number 9.
And,
this is number 8. The number 9 hasn't been released yet.
So the break-even bottle tonight, a little 4 Roses Small Batch Select, only $4. That's going on until 10 p.m. 7 to 10 p.m. You come over here, Oliver Twist, $4 pours of 4 Roses Small Batch. And I'm drinking the Basil Instinct. Tequila, mezcal, dominana, lemon juice, fig, and honey syrup, basil leaves, black pepper, bitters. Wiggins says that this liqueur, smell that. Oh, man, that smells so good. The Dianamana, I don't know how you say it, whatever. The Aztec fertility goddess. This thing's delicious. I've been really loving some premium cocktails. He also sent me the gif of, who's that in Basic Instinct? Oh, there you go, Deli. There you go, Deli. Give that man some.
Do we want to give that man a headphone?
We should absolutely give Deli a headset.
Do we have an extra headset?
Deli, will you work? Will you work for Whistle Pig?
We don't have extra.
Well, he can sit in on mine. We can switch off. I don't care. We got to get Deli on here, ideally, dude.
We don't have a handheld mic anywhere. All right, see if we got anything in that kit. We'll get Deli on here in a bit. Ross Dellinger of Sports Illustrated here. He's here to cover the game, so maybe get some national perspective on it. So I do want to talk a little bit about the game itself instead of you just yelling into the microphone about, murdering old men and breaking their will and fighting everybody.
Fuck him!
So So there's a couple of things that I found interesting this week, listening to the coaches talk and the players. One is the fast start thing. how can LSU start fast? And, we've talked about it a ton, obviously, because LSU's found themselves down. But it was kind of interesting. I went and looked back at all of the games that LSU's played this year. And oddly, when I say LSU hasn't started fast, what would be your perception of that? So, all right, what does that mean? If I say they don't start fast, what does that mean to you?
Well, I mean, okay, I think it's obvious, right? Florida State at the beginning was awful on both sides of the ball. Mississippi State was bad on both sides at first. Auburn was bad. Auburn was bad at first. I mean, the defense ends up getting dominant. The offense never really got it going against Auburn. Ole Miss was bad at both sides at first. Florida, you were good on offense from the start. So,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think you pretty much started pretty poorly.
Do you remember what the halftime score was of the Florida State game?
I think they were down we were all relieved because they were only down 7 or 3 or something. They managed to fight back and get a touchdown at the end, right?
The halftime score was 7-3.
Okay, there you go.
You actually led after the first possession 3-0.
Well,
the Mississippi State game, they scored on their opening possession, and you held them scoreless till midway of the second quarter.
Yeah.
The Auburn game, you allowed the busted play, and the Florida game, you allowed them to score on the first play, and even Ole Miss, after the first drive, you were able to get stops. The point is, I think our perception has been the defense has been really bad, then they made halftime adjustments and been good in the second half. It's actually, when you go and look at it, the defense maybe they'll take that first punch of a designed offensive scheme, first 15 plays, scripted, whatever, and then almost immediately the defense has been stellar. The crazy part is the offense could never fucking get going until late in the first half or in the second half.
Except for Florida, right? They were good throughout Florida.
The last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So really, I think their fast start thing was more the offense not being able to get going. But in the last 2 weeks, we found them the past 2 games, they have gotten going. They scored in their first 6 drives against Florida. And the only stop that Ole Miss got early in that game was the missed field goal. So I think the fact that the offense has found their footing has really sort of, I think, maybe eliminated that narrative a little bit about the fast start. I still think a fighter who sometimes has to get hit and then counterpunch. Some fighters are counterpunchers, right? You're going to go in there and you're going to wait to see what they do, and then you're going to make your plan of attack. I think that's what LSU defensively is doing, which is why you've seen teams score on LSU early. But
so the problem is, you still can't afford to go down 13-0, right? Or 17-3.
But the point is,
you're saying that the offense is getting better.
What I'm saying is the reason they got down like that
is because the offense couldn't get going.
Because the offense couldn't get going.
Well, my point is, then you're still essentially saying, though, that there's very heightened pressure on the offense this game. If the defense does give up that opening drive touchdown they've been wanting to do this year, the offense needs to respond immediately. Otherwise, you end up in that same 13-0, 17-0 hole.
But what I'm telling you is I think the offense is more prepared to get going because the offense is playing at the highest level now that they have all year.
I agree they're playing at the highest level. I agree. I don't know that I'm going to say that, giving up an opening drive touchdown is a pathway to success no matter how good the offense is playing currently.
I get it. But I'm also telling you, I don't know that LSU defensively is going to stop Alabama from scoring on their opening drive.
Yeah, I mean, the evidence would point towards that, right?
Because
for sure.
The only game where they didn't allow that opening drive score was Florida State, where Florida State got going, then they missed the field goal.
Yeah.
So
Florida State's not good, it turns out.
Every other game, you've allowed a team to go down and score on you at the beginning of the game. So I think that's what Brian Kelly talked about, doing quizzes and moving contact early in practice. My pushback on that is we saw LSU do the big cat drill to start every fucking practice. It just didn't matter.
Well, no, I mean it was dumb as fuck though.
Yeah,
it was dumb as fuck.
I get it.
It was
I agree with
concussions and shit.
Yeah, I get
it was really stupid. Should have never done that. But that's the thing about Brian Kelly is that if you talk to anybody in this program, they are always going to try to look for any scientific advantage that they can gain. He is a slave to the data and whatever they are, and I mean that in a good way, and whatever they are telling him. So he will coaches in the past, if things are going well, maybe they listen to that guy. If things are going poorly, maybe they start to be like, no, we're fucking practicing hard again. Les Miles did that, Coach O did that.
Oh, yeah.
Brian Kelly is willing, or he's confident enough in himself and in his process to adjust practice and not overreach, overextend, thinking we have to get more reps in, which honestly, it's a hard thing, man, and it requires a coach that is fully comfortable in themselves. Because nobody wants to feel like you got to game day and didn't leave every stone unturned, right? But it's like anything else in life. It's a bell curve where it, more reps and make sure you have everything covered works to a point, but then you reach overworking, needless reps, trying to account for too many things in a game plan, becoming overwhelming. Like, the great coaches find that middle ground.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I think that Brian Kelly is probably as well-positioned as anyone we know to find said middle ground.
The other thing that I think in just really diving into this game that I think is kind of revealed is I think LSU defensively really is built to, I'm not going to say stop, but to defend Alabama's offense. I think there matchups matter. Like, Tennessee was a terrible matchup because Tennessee's receivers were so dominant against LSU's corners, and Hendon Hooker was great. Right?
Yeah.
That was a terrible – they're going to be a bad matchup for everybody, don't misunderstand. But Alabama this year, and you talk to anybody at Alabama, they'd agree, this is a narrative there because it's true.
Yeah, their weapons are one of their relative weaknesses.
It's not Waddle and Judy and Ruggs and Devontae Smith or Williams and Mechie.
I mean, look at the numbers. There's
no doubt.
I'll bring them up right now, but there's no dominant receivers. I mean, their leading receivers. We played this game the other day. Can you name their leading receiver? You probably can. No, it's Ja'Cory Brooks. Well, Brooks barely, right? So he has 21 catches. Brooks does. Burton has 20.
Okay. And
Jahmyr Gibbs has 31 out of the backfield. Yeah. Prentice has 28. Treshawn Holden has 21. Cameron Latou has 18, right? 9, 8. JoJo Earl has 8.
And to the point of their top 6 pass catchers, one's a running back and one's a tight end.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So like, these are not the skill positions of Bama pass.
So I don't think they are equipped at the receiver position to take advantage of LSU's weakness. And there was one game where Bryce Young was limited, and it was the Texas game, and it was the same game plan. Again, I'm telling you from a novice point of view, right? I don't know about calls and checks and all that shit. I'm just telling you, like, from a novice point of view, what it looked like they tried to do. Texas tried to do exactly what LSU used to do to Johnny Manziel, which is say, hey, we're just going to build this little cocoon around you, and you can run around all you want in this little cocoon, but we're not going to let you get out of here and beat us with your feet, and then we're going to make you try to find someone deep, and we think you're going to throw into tight windows with a lot of traffic, and it's not going to go well. And that's basically what Texas did to Bryce Young in that game.
If you can hang with Alabama's weapons, you can contain the overwhelming presence that is Bryce Young.
And so if you
cannot, you're a dead man.
And so I think would you agree that LSU's strength defensively is their athleticism in their front seven? Like, I think about Harold Perkins and Baskerville and B.J. Ojolari and dudes that can run sideline to sideline. Like, they are fast and athletic. Ole Miss, we worried so much or talked so much about their ability to run and bust big plays, but LSU allowed 3 runs of more than 10 yards. I think the longest in the game was maybe 16 or 17.
It was great.
Because
one, Ole Miss came out passing the ball, and LSU said, okay, well, take that early on, but we're not going to let you do what you want to do, which is run the ball.
But even when they tried to run, they were not able to do so.
No, that's what I'm saying. And LSU was committing to stopping that portion of their game.
And so I think Jahmyr Gibbs is very similar stylistically to what you'd see, but I think LSU is equipped because of their athleticism to limit the run, to contain Bryce Young. The question is, can Bryce Young beat you throwing the football?
God, I just wish they didn't get Jahmyr Gibbs.
And maybe he can. Like, maybe Bryce Young is magnificent. But, I remember this was – I shared this example on AFR. Maybe I need to just go find this in the box score. But when Bama was playing Texas, there was a play early in the game. It might have even been in the first half. I'm sorry, it might have even been in the first quarter. And they had a 3rd and forever. It was like a 3rd and I'm trying to find it. Anyway,
is it a play where Bryce Young just made everybody miss and then threw it way downfield and got a conversion?
he threw it way downfield, the kid dropped the ball.
Oh, yeah.
Like at the 20-yard line. It was like this. It was this amazing play where Bryce Young is doing this Houdini act, and he finally stops and fires, and he puts it right on this kid's face mask, and he drops it like at the 20. It's like that's the state of Bama's receivers this year. I'm not telling you they're awful. It's just in the past you felt like you had no fucking shot.
Yes.
And especially if you were going to run out there the guys that LSU has now at cornerback. I guess that's my point. I still expect. Bama went to Tennessee and scored 49 on those fuckers. Please don't misunderstand me. I'm not telling you they're bad. I'm not telling you they stink. I'm not telling you they can't score. I'm not telling you LSU's going to put them in a headlock. What I'm telling you is I think LSU's got the ability to get stops in the game, and I think LSU will move the ball and will score. So you're going to need help. You're going to need turnovers. You're going to need penalties on Bama. You're going to need some things to break your way in this game. But it feels
you're trying to do a 14-point upset. So yes, you're going to need things to go in your let's not. I mean, I don't care about keeping sight of that, honestly. Because fuck it, right? I'm all in. I'm expecting, or like I said, I'm going in, if you're scared, buy a dog. If you're scared, go to church, okay? Because we ain't got no room for that. That said, let's also recognize just how tough what they're trying to do is. They are trying to effect a 14-point upset against a team that may be weak relative to their own standards, but a team that is still 6th in the country, only has one loss, ranks, first or second in every single offensive and defensive category, essentially. A team that has had a Nick Saban process in place for 15 to 20 years. Don't mistake my confidence and passion and emotion for this game. Do not let that overshadow just what an accomplishment it would be if LSU would manage to win this game in year one of Brian Kelly, when Alabama is literally bringing back a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback.
Are you confident?
No, what I'm saying is I don't give a fuck about the spread or anything. I'm just going mindless. Okay. I'm like a berserker. It's like in Mad Max Fury Road when they spray the chrome spray paint on their teeth and just fucking drive in as fast as they can. I'm essentially a kamikaze this Saturday.
Two things. T-Rob Baybear said, ask Scone T, do you mind not arguing about Vandy in the ACC for 20 minutes this week? That depends on how drunk he gets.
I have refined my Clemson thoughts.
Number two, by the way, my lock of the fucking year is Clemson covering against Notre Dame this week. And number two, Greg Lehman said,
I'll bet that with you, dude.
How many times has Bama covered the line at LSU since 2010? Now,
they have beaten your ass a lot.
They have.
Maybe not covered the line, though. Well, some guy. I don't know.
2018 was 29-0.
Merci beaucoup, monsieur.
But he would say LSU won in 2010. The 2012 was the Yeldon game, which was a huge line on that game.
Literally cost you a trip to Atlanta and maybe a natty chance. Insanity.
It definitely did. I mean, it absolutely did. If you win that game, you go to Atlanta and you probably beat Georgia and you skullfuck Notre Dame and win a national championship. I mean, it's funny. People always say January 9th is the day that the program. It's not. It was the Yeldon play. Because if you win the Yeldon game, you go win the Natty, you make amends for 2011.
Well, and that was the year when everybody transferred, too. It was after that year because everybody was so broken and just fed up with
after 12
all the mile shit. Yeah, right.
Everybody left early.
After 12, I'm saying,
they
right?
They didn't transfer. They left.
Oh,
for the
sorry,
draft.
that's what I meant. That's what I meant. They left for the draft.
Yeah.
You had Chris Falk. He was a great tackle, leaving to be like a 7th-round pick or something.
Everybody left. I mean,
everybody took.
But you also had a ton of juniors that were studs.
But it was just 2 years in a row.
You had Mingo and Montgomery and Reed and all the running backs.
For sure, but you also had 2 years in a row of absolutely heartbreaking defeat. And I mentioned this, so Wes and Steve are trying to come at me about the 2011 game, and I was calling them Harry and Lloyd because they're dumbass and dumbasser. But the thing is, it's like, as a player, can we not accept nowadays just how much we were being asked to overachieve when you're talking about putting Les Miles versus Nick Saban with a month of preparation? That's fucking absurd.
I thought you meant the regular season. You're talking about
either one. Yeah. Either one. Like in any situation, when the talent is equal and you have Les Miles versus Nick Saban, the fact that we won that first game is a borderline miracle, right? So, yeah, man, this is the first game where you feel like, okay, if nothing else, maybe and 2019 is the exception to all things, right? But this is the first game where you feel like, okay, maybe the staff advantage is equivalent, at least, in this bye week.
I think LSU's coordinators are better than Bama's coordinators.
Really? I'm not as low as Bill O'Brien. I understand that people hate
No,
Bama
I like
fans
Bill
hate him
O'Brien as a head coach. Bill O'Brien was a terrible GM.
He's a terrible
Houston.
GM, but he's a really good football
He was
head
a
coach.
very good head coach with the Texans and at Penn State. He
I
inherited
agree.
a disaster
I
at Penn
agree.
State. But
That's why he should go to Auburn.
But just as far as if I'm looking at as an accomplished play caller, I would take Mike Denbrock over Bill O'Brien. If you're asking me who I would prefer be my head coach, I would take Bill O'Brien because he's got more experience at both levels.
Well, that's good then, because, okay, that works to the point then.
I absolutely think so. But Nick Saban is Nick Saban, and he's always going to be the
and his team's better. His team's better. This is not like 2011 where the teams were equivalent and the staffs end up being the difference. The problem is now their team is better. Like, they've been in this thing for 15 years in this process. LSU's in year 1.
So those were two things. I don't know, man. Like, you played in this game. What do you think about, like, the environment of Tiger Stadium for the Bama game? I mean, you were there in 08, although did you play? No, you were hurt.
No,
You were hurt in 08. 08 was Saban's first
I remember
trip.
watching that on the couch. That was the freaking Ricky Jean, like, blocked a field goal to force overtime.
Sure did. And then
Ended up losing.
JPW, John Parker Wilson, won it in overtime with a plunge over the goal line. A game LSU had no business being in. I think maybe to the point that Greg was making. 2010 LSU won that game in Baton Rouge. 12 was the Yeldon play. 14 was Les's worst team, and that game went to overtime. LSU pissed that one away. They had the game won, committed a stupid penalty. Vidal Alexander committed a stupid 15-yard penalty when LSU was about to go into the end zone and salt the game away. So you lose
So I'm
that.
saying there's been so much heartbreak.
And then 16 was 10-0, and then 18 was 29-0, and then 2020 was. I'm talking about just the games at Baton Rouge. 2020 was the whitewashing in the COVID year. But I like.
Also, that 2020 team for Alabama was pretty unreal.
You know the thing though about the game mostly, I feel different. Like when LSU was in the midst of the losing streak to Bama.
Yeah.
Every year it felt so big because it was like if you didn't get the monkey off your back, you knew you had to wait 365 fucking days for another chance to maybe do it. And so it just, every year that passed, it built more and more and more. So 2019 was like just popping the fucking balloon. Like this year's over. Like 2020 sucked. I mean, we get it what happened in that year in COVID and they were terrible. And last year LSU was a bad football team with a lame duck coach. Like you come into this one just feeling different about it. Like about not only the game but the whole series. Like you don't have the angst of an 8-game losing streak. It's a different head coach. It's a new day. You feel like you got a fighting chance. You don't feel like you're going to go try to play. Like to Greg's point about the point spread, a big reason that happened, T, was because Nick knew what Les was going to do. Les was going to line up, run the ball, and so Nick was content to be like Big Brother, just putting his hand on your fucking head and letting you swing because he knew you weren't going to fucking move. Because he knew the only way he was losing is if they got careless and turned the ball over. Like it was the only way they were going to ever lose the game. And LSU came close a couple times because it was close in the fourth quarter, maybe make a play here or there like 2014. But it's just different now. Like,
well, and then in 2010, it's just because it kind of snowballed in Alabama pretty quickly. They were doing that thing. And then a couple things went wrong for them, right? You have the 4th and 1 fake QB sneak reverse down to the goal line. Ruben Randall goes for a long touchdown. Yeah. Drake Nevis makes an incredible,
strip sack.
Uber quick spin move strip sack from the nose guard position, which you never see, to seal the game. So, yeah, like that game they tried to play. But that's why Nick Saban evolved, right? He said, fuck that conservative shit. Like, I'm not going to play that game anymore. Now I'm going to try to overwhelm you. And that's where they have now moved to. Where Alabama has moved to, and it's paid dividends, but when they have been on the road, they have looked mortal recently. But everything you were just saying, Matt, that is what I think to be one of the great advantages for LSU in this. They are playing with house money. This is Lanyap. They're already ahead of schedule, and this is not to say be content or anything. I'm not saying you go into this like, who cares if we lose? But the thing is, you can just say fuck it and you can play free. There's no anxiety like Will Anderson was talking about going into Tennessee, and I do not mean that as a shot at Will Anderson. Everybody has anxiety and nerves before games. But my point is, LSU, if they lose, the entire city will not be staring at them like, you guys fucking suck, which is not always the case. I've been a part of games where that's the case, and it's an awful feeling, and it creates an immense amount of pressure. Right now at Alabama, if they lose, it again will be the single greatest failure of the Saban era outside of year number 1. I mean, maybe you could argue the Oklahoma year, but they didn't have Bryce Young then. That was before they had these evolved offenses. So, no, like, I think and losing to Brian Kelly in year 1 would send shockwaves through that fan base. It would make them insecure. It would make them fearful of the future.
It absolutely would.
Like, the opportunity as like an underdog here to land this massive fucking haymaker for the future is there, but there's no real pressure to. Because you're basically propped up here. They put you at 10 as the fall guy. They're juicing you, Matt. You like UFC and shit. Isn't this what they do to people? Like people on the way up, like when they do in a Sugar Sean before this last fight, which they finally were like, okay, now you get a big dog. They give you fights to win. They want to build up your character. They put LSU at 10 to give Alabama a little bit of extra juice. Well, guess what? 10's about to fuck them up.
Yeah, I don't believe that at all.
Why do you think they put Texas at 23?
I didn't even look at it.
Texas at 23 at 5-3. 24, excuse me.
I just don't care. I don't like.
Keep your third eye open. They're trying to pop up Alabama.
It only matters if you let it matter, and I don't care. The rankings don't matter. They don't matter a lick. Like, literally, there's nothing about these rankings right now that make any difference to anything. Like,
yeah, except they're fun to talk about, dude. College football fans are sickos, and it's a sicko conversation. Like, I feel you. If you're going to tell me you don't care, that's all well and good, but I find it very fun to talk about.
I actually think the opposite, because what I would like is a fair and equitable postseason system where you actually decide things on the field instead of having 13 morons in a fucking hotel ballroom in rural Dallas. In suburban Dallas telling me why they think fucking game control matters or this team hasn't been as dominant because they didn't lead for, like, shut the fuck up. Like, that's the stupidest thing in the world.
Have you seen the athletic CFP bracket as it would stand today?
I have not.
Based on the current proposed 12-team playoff?
I have not.
I mean, how much fun would this thing be, Matt?
I mean, I could look at this right here. So 1 versus 12, would you have 4 buys?
No, because you have 4 buys for the 4 conference, highest rate conference leaders.
So you'd have UCLA, Michigan?
So right now, the buys would be Tennessee, TCU, Clemson, Ohio State.
Okay.
Round 1, we get Oregon, USC. We get Georgia, Tulane. How about Tulane? They would make the playoff.
Don't hit me.
Group of 5.
Don't hit me, motherfucker.
We get Michigan, Ole Miss.
That's cool.
Alabama, LSU.
That's cool.
The winner of Alabama, LSU would take on Ohio State. That's fucking tight. Winner of Michigan, Ole Miss take on Clemson. That's fucking tight. Georgia would take on TCU. Maybe not that tight. And then Oregon, USC would take on Tennessee. Fucking tight.
I love it. I want 16.
I would be down for 16 as well.
But
I just don't think it's going to happen. I will take 12.
I'll take 12. I mean, I'm just ready for a playoff. That's the people who say you'll devalue the regular season. You're fucking stupid. Like, now, you have allowed yourself to completely just, like, I want to say drink the Kool-Aid. I actually want to be way more graphic, but I'm not going to do that. But, like, you were just guzzling all of the bullshit that they're throwing at you. Like, it's just
Peter North.
You are. I mean,
That's a deep cut for all you old men out there. Old Peter North 8-roper down the throat. You take that, you can take anything, Matt. I don't know why I made that into some pseudo Skip impression. It was a weird place to take that. What were you talking about?
The playoff.
You know what will be fun? Deciding. You know what will be fun?
No,
deciding who the 11th best team in the country is. You think deciding who the 4th best is fun? Imagine choosing between. Go to the rankings. Imagine choosing between, like, Ole Miss, UCLA, Kansas State, Utah, Penn State, Illinois, North Carolina. Like, everybody will be yelling from the fucking rooftop that they deserve to be that guy.
Great.
It's going to be great. I love it. But, like, we're not going to care that much. So, like, you're not going to be a team with actual championship potential that get held out, because I don't know that we'll ever see an 11 seed win college football, but I'm excited to find out.
But you could, man.
But I'm excited to find out.
All right, I'll give you an example. I'll give you a case in point. It's 2001 LSU. That was a team that was 5-3 in the conference. They got blown out by Florida. They lost a game early at Tennessee. They allowed Ole Miss with Eli Manning to have a fourth quarter comeback and win in Baton Rouge. But some tiebreakers fell their way, and they end up winning the West. They go to Atlanta, and they beat number 2 Tennessee in a rematch. And I'm telling you, by the end of that, and they skull-fucked Illinois in the Sugar Bowl. And I'm telling you, man, that was a team.
What is this, 2001? Everything's lining up again.
I'm telling you, by the end of that season, nobody wanted to play. Now, LSU would not have beaten Miami. That was the 01 Miami team, and they were great. But nobody would have wanted to play LSU by December. Like, that team was rolling. Their offense was incredible. The defense had found their stride. I mean, they were awesome. Like that was a team that I think after they beat Illinois finished 8th. But, like, they would have been right in that number, right?
Yep.
On the border of the top 10 going into the playoff. And that would have been a team that anybody that draws them would have been like, oh, fuck.
Well, and
we got to go like Rohan slinging balls to Josh Reed and Michael Clayton, and here's LeBrandon Toefield and like Marcus Spears. I mean, it would like they fuck people up.
So I know this is a bad comparison.
What about Utah last year? Look at what Utah did to Ohio State in the Rose Bowl.
Oh yeah,
pushed them to the fucking brink, man.
It's true. No, look, I know this is bad.
That was a playoff game.
I know this is a bad example, Matt, because it's more of a commentary in the NFL, not college. But never forget that in the game of football, the 9-7 Giants beat the undefeated Patriots in the Super Bowl.
It's the NFL.
It's the NFL. That's what I'm saying. I know. I get it. But you know what else is fucking hard? Going undefeated in the NFL. Okay? Like, so even to get to that point borders on insanity. So, yeah. But that's why you solve it on the field.
Yes.
So we don't have to have all these bullshit conversations
I can't believe you and I agree
is it
wholeheartedly
Clemson,
on this.
is it Michigan, is it fucking TCU? Because that's one of my problems. You're telling me schedule matters when it's Clemson, but not if it's TCU. Let me play a hypothetical with you, Matt. If TCU was Texas or Oklahoma, where would they be ranked right now?
They'd be in the top 4 for sure.
They'd be in the top 4, no
100%.
doubt. No fucking doubt. Fucking blue blood.
Yes.
Blue blood bullshit. Let Max Duggan lose on the field if you think he's going to lose.
All right, let's look at the conference, and then we'll get to your questions. So fire away. He'll log them.
I don't know if my chat is working, so we may have to just do them live when we get there.
I got it either way. So fire away with your questions. If you're on YouTube, do us a favor, smash that like button, subscribe up to the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. If you're on Facebook, please like the page, share the post. We appreciate y'all for being there and being here with us from Oliver Twist. Oh, by the way, shout out David Steele from Bourbon Society, Baton Rouge. Next Saturday, the 12th, the day of the LSU-Arkansas game, is the Louisiana Bourbon Festival. Oh. You go to LouisianaBourbonFest.com, and he's given us a pair of tickets.
Dave's here tonight, right? Wasn't he? Okay, yeah.
He's given us a pair of tickets to give away. It's a $100 ticket.
Oh.
So it's from 7 to 10 at the Renaissance. It's all you can drink. 35 distilleries will be there. All you can drink from 7 to 10. And Don Juan will be there as well with cigars. It'll be awesome.
I've been to a wine thing at the Renaissance before, and it was very fun.
Yeah, it's great. Renaissance is a great venue for stuff like that.
You know what it's good for?
We got to figure out how we're going to give away the tickets. So we have a pair to give away here.
Next Wednesday?
No, right now.
Oh, right now?
He'll probably let us give away a pair as well, but we got to figure out a way to do it. But the event is, and the great thing is the Arkansas game is in the morning, so it's not going to conflict with an LSU game. So LSU will be done, and then at 7 to 10 is
How do we do this?
So they really lucked out with the.
Should we tweet like? That's a lot of legwork if we do like score predictions, and whoever gets closest. There's no way I'm going to be able to log all those score predictions.
Just pick somebody.
Yeah, we'll just pick somebody probably. Like if you love bourbon, enter. Don't enter if you're not gonna go.
Ashley Megan said bourbon.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Do you love bourbon?
People like Ashley Bourbon. Just say
if she loves bourbon, give
say hashtag Bourbon Society
or BSOBR. Oh look, Daniel.
No, Kirk Maz with
200. Who's that? Oh, bro, I have to tell you something.
Kirk Maz always gives us big super chats.
Thank you, bro.
$210 super
That's
chat.
awesome,
what
man.
up, Daniel?
Bro, I accidentally blocked Van Lathan on Twitter. Wow. Hold on, I got to tell you this story.
One of our greatest celebrity supporters, Matt, you son of a bitch. I
have to tell you that.
If Van doesn't show up for whiskey and wine anymore, I'm going to fight you.
I think, dude, I'll let you read. I will let you read my DMs, but I think maybe Drew did it, actually.
That's fair. And if it's not fair, It's a great fucking defense. You're telling Brian Kelly, I thought I hit him on the punt. I mean, I thought I hit him, dude. I'm telling you. My angle, what had happened was Drew had the phone. I was tweeting.
I will show. I don't block anybody on Twitter. Like, literally, the only thing that gets blocked on Twitter are bot accounts. Like, that are filling up, like, my mentions. I'll block a bot account. That's it. I've literally not blocked a single human, no matter what shit you say to me. I haven't blocked anybody.
I mute humans sometimes because I don't want them to know the satisfaction that I blocked them.
That, and just because some people just fucking flood your... It's like, God damn, like, you're really just polluting my shit. So I will mute, but I haven't blocked anybody.
If I deem you to be an asshole, I may mute you.
But, dude, I'm looking at Twitter earlier today, and I think maybe it was Wilson Alexander. Somebody had responded to a tweet, and it was showing the thing where it's like, you can't read this tweet or whatever. This tweet's not available. I'm like, what the fuck is that? So I clicked on it, and it's Van Lathan. And I'm like, and I look at his account, and it says blocked. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how did I block? And so, like, keep in mind, like, you told me who Van was because he was watching Whiskey and Wine. And so anyway.
From The Ringer, big time.
Like, really cool dude. Has been super complimentary of all the stuff we do.
Yeah.
I mean, dude's been super successful.
Huge nerd as well, which I love. There's a lot of great nerd talk on The Ringer.
So I sent him a message, and I'm like, man, I don't even know if you noticed, but somehow I blocked you. I don't know if it was a fat finger thing or something, but it was completely...
Lay prostrate and say, look, man, dude, I am really sorry.
It was just
really sorry.
I don't even know if you noticed, but it was completely unintentional. Like, my bad. Appreciate you watching all that stuff. He's like, no.
What'd he say?
So he's like, no, I did. It was a really cool response. He's like, no, I didn't notice. It's all good. But he goes,
okay, we're all good.
He goes,
we're all good.
He goes, he goes, it's okay, bro. I didn't notice. Also, nothing can stop me from consuming every word that comes out of your mouth.
Yes,
LMAO.
Let's go.
So then I'm like, hey.
Let's go.
Then I'm like, hey, are you coming in town this weekend? He goes, no, bro. My show debuts this weekend. I was like, I'm like, you can tell that I'm a singularly focused human during football season.
Yes, you do not enjoy much other content beyond just football during football season. This is true.
Sorry,
I guess Yankee baseball as well.
Well, I mean,
you know what? At least you got a little lucky and got to watch a little Yankee baseball during football season this year, dude.
I mean,
what's the Pelicans start at 9 tonight?
9:30. Okay. I'm so fired up about that tonight. Like, we got the World Series going. We got 2 action games. I got 9:30 with the Pels tonight. I'm fired up about it. So, okay. By the way, Wiggins just poured Wild Turkey.
I'm going to put the biggest bet of my life on the Pelicans money line tonight.
So I'm going to tell. What is the?
I have no idea. Actually, I haven't looked.
I will say this. I will say this about the Pels. I know we're doing a football show, but real quick, and it's Bama week. If you are a sports gambler, there is right now tremendous value with the Pelicans because Vegas and the betting public have not caught up to the fact that the Pelicans are good. Like, the Pelicans were a 2-point underdog to the Clippers without Kawhi Leonard.
But and like with Zion back.
Yes. And they won the game by 21.
Yeah, 21. They were. And what I love about it is they were down 11 early. It was their first time winning when going down 10 this year.
Pels are a 3-point favorite in this game over the Lakers. Yeah. They are going to beat the shit out of the Lakers tonight.
Yeah,
the Pelicans are going to beat the shit out of the Lakers. There is no way that should be a 3-point line. No way. So anyway, there is value there because there just isn't a big handle on New Orleans. There just isn't. And I think the Lakers are so public. Like, in this, you're probably going to have people betting the Lakers, so it's brought that number artificially down. Like, the Pelicans are going to beat the shit out of the Lakers.
Stop me if you've heard this before. Anthony Davis, questionable with lower back tightness.
Bro.
When I tell you,
I'm going to bet everything in my account right now on the Pelicans.
When I tell you I have never turned on a human being in my life as hard as I turned on AD. I would have, if he said jump, I'll say, how hard do you want me to suck your dick, Anthony Davis? Like, I was obsessed with that man. I had jerseys. I had stuffed I had a stuffed Anthony Davis doll that I gave my daughter that I got at a game when she was born.
Zion is what you hoped Anthony Davis would be. Someone who just really was all in and
Wants to
embraced the
fucking
city.
work.
And,
Well, and honestly, what it took for Zion to get there was Willie Green and Brandon Ingram. Dude, making this team legitimate.
DraftKings, it's down to 2.
Let's ride. Let's ride. Big bet time, boys. Big bet time, boys.
With the Pelicans.
Big bet time, boys. Let's go, boys.
I kind of want to wait another hour to see if it goes to 1.
I never bet basketball, but I'm fucking in, dude.
Bro, I kind of want to wait another hour. Like, am I going to get this at a pick? I mean, do I have to? I mean, oh, my God. Like, that's incredible.
Hey, you know what Mario pointed out today, which, by the way, everybody should listen to the Flacco podcast with Mark Rez Tuesday and Thursdays. How rare is it when you can win a game and help your draft stock?
It's incredible.
Which the Pelicans can do tonight. You beat the Lakers, you help your draft stock.
I mean, just for those that don't know, and Muse and I talked about this earlier on AFR, so the Pels is part of the AD trade. I cannot believe, dude, do you know, like, do you realize what sort of alternate fucking dimension this is? It's the Wednesday before LSU-Bama.
I know.
And we're sitting here talking about a November fucking Pelicans basketball game.
You gotta love it, dude.
But the Pels and the Lakers have a pick swap opportunity. Basically, if the Lakers pick is higher than New Orleans, they can swap picks.
Yeah.
So, like,
and
we can basically say, hey, it absolutely is going to be. The Lakers are not making the playoffs, and the Pelicans are going to be a playoff team, and they're going to end up with another lottery pick this year as part of the Anthony Davis trade, which is going to go down as the greatest fucking trade ever. I mean, incredible.
Well, I mean, the best part about it is that it was all David Griffin shorting the Pelicans. And then the Lakers win shorting the Lakers, and then they win the championship year 1, and we're losing our shit. I'm like, David Griffin, you fucking idiot, Trajan Langdon, what are y'all doing? And now, right, lo and behold, of course, you know what? And I'm very upfront about this. I don't know basketball. I'm just a fan of the Pelicans, right?
Yeah, I'm not breaking down.
I don't analyze the game.
And shit. Yeah.
I cannot tell you what trades are good or not, really. Like, I'm just living in the games, and so it makes me be like wishy-washy with, like, if it's going good, I fucking love it. If they're going bad, I hate it. But David Griffin proving, and Trajan Langdon. I feel like I always want to throw Trajan Langdon in as well because we don't give him any credit.
Swin Cash.
Hall
of Famer.
Swin Cash is a fucking beast.
All right, we got to go. Come on.
Yeah, okay.
Make your point.
Okay. Oh, nothing. I was just going to say that.
We're going to get to your questions, comments. So fire away. Let's go real quickly. Let's preview the weekend in the SEC. Kentucky at Missouri. The only reason that this is interesting: can Kentucky bounce back? And Missouri is trying to fight for bowl eligibility.
I'll tell you what, dude. I love Missouri's defense. Blake Baker is doing a fucking awesome job, dude. Like,
Florida is at Texas A&M.
Wait, who are you choosing in that game?
Kentucky.
You are?
Yeah, I'm taking Kentucky.
What's the spread? Are we doing spread or just straight up?
No, just pick. Yeah.
I'll go Mizzou.
Florida at Texas A&M. I asked this question earlier. Will Texas A&M get to bowl eligibility?
Oof. I fucking hope not.
So A&M is 3-5.
I know. I love it.
They have UMass, which they'll win, so they'll get to 4. So basically, they have to go 2-1 against Florida, at Auburn, LSU. So assume. And I hate to even say assume they'll win at Auburn because it's a road game and they may get the interim bump.
Yeah.
But Florida at Auburn, LSU, they got to win 2 of those games. I don't think they do.
I don't think they do either.
A&M at home against Florida this weekend.
I'll go Florida. I'll take Napier and the vibes there, even though they're not ideal with old Mark Long being like, I don't give a fuck. I'll be here longer than Billy Napier.
I'm going to tell you there's one interesting thing. There's one interesting thing about A&M, and it's Connor Wegman.
Wigman.
Is Connor Wegman.
Say Wigman.
They say Wigman?
On the broadcast, they were saying Wigman.
Okay.
It freaked me out. Okay. I felt like it should have been Wegman, Wiegman, whatever. But yeah, they were saying Wigman.
Did you hear
Ramos?
Did you hear the stat? Okay.
No.
Wigman threw for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Is that really what he ended up with last game?
The last time a Jimbo Fisher quarterback threw for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns in the game. You want to guess?
So obviously it's not Kellen Mond. Surely it's not going back to Jameis. Maybe like a DeAndre Francois.
Good pull, but no.
Fuck.
Everett Golson.
Oh!
In 2015.
Everett Golson is kind of good.
Against Texas State.
Oh, shit.
So my point is, did Connor... Has Jimbo found his quarterback? I don't know. It's one game.
Isn't that also like a commentary on what the fuck is Jimbo doing?
Yeah.
Like have you completely lost it? Yeah. Like
that kid was there?
Like, I'm not going to lie, beginning of last game when it was freshman to freshman, and he throws it in the side of the end zone, and old boy like jumps up and like fucking one hands, and I'm like, oh shit, dude.
They have talent. Yeah.
That was pretty good.
All right.
I'll take Florida though.
All right, we're gonna let you know what this is in a second. This is the break even for next week. I will tease that right now because we'll tell you in just a second what this is. Liberty, Arkansas. Arkansas is struggling, bro. I would not be surprised if Hugh Freeze goes there and wins that game.
Yeah, and Hugh Freeze has the new contract. His name's being bandied about.
It's 13.5. It's a big line.
Who's it? It's Arkansas. It's at Arkansas?
At Arkansas, yeah.
No, I'm still riding with the Hogs and KJ.
Me too. Auburn at Mississippi State. Does Auburn get the interim bump in Starkville?
No. If they did, that would be awful for Mike Leach and company.
I agree.
Getting John Cohen poached, which, by the way, John Cohen doesn't have a great record of hiring football coaches.
He's also hiring at Mississippi State. It's different when you have Auburn's resources.
Fair. Auburn's sketchy as hell, though, right now, dude.
South Carolina at Vandy. I like Carolina to win. Look out at Carolina. They're going to be bowl eligible. All right.
Wait, Auburn, who at Vandy?
South Carolina at Vandy.
Yeah.
All right, the two big ones, Tennessee at Georgia.
I mean, I'm definitely playing Tennessee with the points. Already got that bet in. I didn't get in that early. I know.
It's such a public play.
You know, the only time to really do it, I feel like, would have been when it was at like 11 on the early line last week. That's what I'm saying. That was the time to do it. I did it at 9, so I'm a fucking scrub.
So, but by the way, I think Tennessee wins the game. I'm picking them to win the game.
So that's what I was saying. That's where I'm going to. I'm riding with Hooker and company.
It's a super public play. I get it. The sharps are all on Georgia. I get it. It's not something I would say, hey, go bet your life savings.
But then again,
I think Tennessee. I don't think there's a defense that can stop Tennessee from scoring. And
the Sharps consistently faded LSU in 2019, thinking they would run out of steam, and they never did.
Never did. All right, Bama LSU. How do you think it goes?
Bama LSU. Fucking LSU beats their goddamn little bitch ass. What the fuck do you mean, dude?
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Fuck Alabama. Old pussy-ass Nick Saban bullshit.
All right, Aaron Hornsby, Thad Landry, what's going on? Appreciate y'all for being there with us. So this is next week's Break Even. This is the Crown Extra Rare. It's 29-year Crown Royal.
Good God.
I don't have the box to talk more about the description or the mash bill. It is going to be 92 proof. And Canadian whiskey tends to be lower proof, a little sweeter. But 29-year Crown. This is about a $400 bottle.
So the perfect age to sell me essential oils on Instagram Live.
This would be a $75 pour here at Oliver Twist. Next week, it'll be $15. So, I mean, come next week, we're here at 7, from 7 to 8 for Scone T. We appreciate you for being here. All right, you want to get to questions?
Yeah, okay. I'm just going to scroll the chat right now and see the first ones that I see. When is it a good time to start farting in a new relationship?
Whenever
6
you
years.
want. That'll let you know if you're good to go.
6 years. Oh, actually, that's probably a good answer.
Yeah, just do it.
Ask Scone T. Harold Perkins strip sack for the win. Ooh, let's fucking go, Drake Nevis style.
Is that a question?
Trey Robichaux. No. He did not understand the assignment of the hashtag. Von Bluesman asked Scone T, does Bama have any significantly injured players that will be out? They don't have a Mason Smith that's out, which I know it's dumb and it doesn't matter. But, Matt, I cannot help myself. What would the fantasy be if you had, because Mekhi Wingo has been so goddamn good.
I know.
And Guillory's been solid, and Jaquelin Roy's been so solid. What if you had Mason Smith? But no, Bama does not have an equivalent best player out.
Not like that. So they do have some injuries on their defensive line, and that has been one of my points. Has been their defensive line. So DJ Dale and Jaheim Oates have both been injured. Both. I'm reading this update from Tuscaloosa News. Both did start practicing this week.
Damn.
Both missed the Mississippi State game, then they had the week off. So they basically were holding them to try to get them ready. But, I mean, that's two really good interior defensive players. Maybe the two best interior defensive players that have been battling injuries. I mean, they're your starters. Those are your starters at tackle. That would be like if you held Mekhi Wingo and Jaquelin Roy from a game to try to get them ready for the next week.
All right, let's see.
And they did have another defensive end who's one of their rotational guys who had a neck injury. He's done for the year.
Scone and
so
T,
numbers
no.
are a little thin.
Scone and T. Where is Bama on the hatred scale? What is a hatred scale? Is that a reference to something y'all have talked about?
No. Just how much do you hate them?
Oh, how much do I hate them? You know how much Jesus hates the devil?
Yeah.
Multiply it by 2, okay? Fuck that motherfucker. You know why? Jesus forgives. I fucking don't. Beelzebub can suck this dick right after Nick Saban gets done.
Okay. Jake Cooper said, how bad do you think the weather's going to affect the game? Hey,
If it's not windy, I don't give a fuck. Wet does not matter. Wind matters.
Okay, well,
in my opinion.
Well, please elaborate on that then. I think that's
not even a me saying. That is a Bobby Hebert football truth, right? We have one snap and clear, and then we have wet does not matter for quarterbacks. Wind matters. If it's not windy, you can still fucking throw the ball. You'll be fine.
What about the line?
No, I mean I don't.
God, I hate playing in the rain.
I
never played that level.
Look,
but the rain
think,
was like I could never get my foot.
I think it kind of muddies. I think it kind of muddies things down. I mean, it may slow speed a little bit. I mean, are we talking torrential? Like, what's the broadcast?
I don't know.
Because if it goes torrential, then yes, you slow the entire thing down.
Yeah.
Which, whatever, I don't care. Let's fucking drag this thing into a fist fight.
There's a 100% chance of rain on Saturday.
Okay.
It does not show. I'm not looking at a radar that shows what time they're expecting rain. So, I would like to see it actually clear up and be nice. It's odd. We haven't seen a rain game yet this year.
Everybody bring your ponchos, though. No excuses. Pack out Tiger Stadium.
It's sold out. That's pretty cool.
Ask Scone T, will they ever do anything to make other bowl games relevant? Bro, who gives a fuck? The playoffs are going to be awesome. And bowl games will be fun. If you like college football, they're going to be fun. If you have a 12-team playoff, you don't need the 4 BCS bowls. Like, you don't need that shit anymore. You have a 12-team playoff. Scone T, are there more than 5 or 6 teams this year that could win it all? Will 11 and 12 seed ever have a chance in the playoff?
Kind of talked about that a little bit ago, yeah?
I mean, yes.
Listen.
This year, there's probably, this year's relatively wide open, right? There's probably today, it feels like there's 5 or 6. That number will thin. I would say Ohio State, Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama. I'm not putting Clemson in there. Maybe it's 4. Oh, Oregon. I don't know.
And Oregon's got skull fucked by Georgia.
I know.
They've gotten a lot better now.
But Ohio
They've gotten a lot
State,
better.
Virginia Tech, if I wanted to make that argument, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I love,
You mean
Matt?
teams are allowed to improve?
You know what I love, Matt?
What do you love,
now, Bo Nix is second in the nation in touchdowns accounted for. He's a legit Heisman candidate. And Gus Malzahn has UCF at number 25 in the CFP, and Auburn is fucking dead. Those fucking dumbasses, dude. You are the problem. Brian Harsin sucked, but you should have never gotten to Harsin. You are the problem, Auburn.
All right, what's our bet? Clemson. Clemson covers against Notre Dame easily. It's my lock of the world.
Lock of the world?
Lock of the
Then
world.
you know me. I'm not a heavy bettor, but I'll put 100 on that. That's a heavy bet for me.
I thought you were going Notre Dame. You're anti-Clemson.
Oh, what?
You're anti-Clemson.
No, I've refined my Clemson idea. My point is this. Like right now, I think Clemson should be at 4. They've beaten the teams that are 20, 21, and 22. I don't think
sat
those
here
wins.
listening to you yell at me about some bullshit Vanderbilt. Hey, whatever the fuck that was for like 20 minutes, and you're going to sit here and tell me now that you've refined your thought?
Yes.
What the fuck is that?
I fucking loathe Clemson. I need them to lose. If they go undefeated, yes, they will make the playoffs.
You wasted everybody's goddamn time, including mine, last week, yelling about how awful Clemson was, how they were fraud,
so that's
they
the
deserve
point.
shit,
So
and all
that's
this
the point.
bullshit for as long as you did last week, and now you're going to come here with this bullshit?
Time out, 30 seconds. Time out, 30 seconds.
Oh, now you're going to tell me I can't talk when you've been interrupting me the whole fucking show?
I need a timeout.
That's all you fucking do is interrupt me.
You have to respect timeouts. If you can't do it, I'm going to run you.
Timeout.
You want me to run you?
You can shut up a fucking timeout.
Get the fuck out of here!
Is what you could do with your timeout. Take your timeout and shove a timeout up your asshole is what you could do.
Okay.
You know what you can do? You can shove it up your pee hole. Like, what's that called when they put a fucking thing in your pee hole?
That's a catheter.
A catheter? That's what you can do with your timeout. Take like a catheter and shove it right up your fucking pee hole.
Some people
Bitch.
call that Friday night, but you're freaky if that's you. No, so here's my point. Here's my point. I acknowledge
Clemson.
I acknowledge that Clemson is likely better than TCU. But here's my issue. Clemson is 8th graders playing with 6th graders. TCU is 6th graders playing with other 6th graders. Like, the battle that a player on TCU would go through to go undefeated is significantly harder than the battle that Clemson players will go through. And unfortunately, in this bullshit subjective 4-team playoff system, we play God and we say, you're the better team. And so we're going to put Clemson in, even though those players had a significantly easier road to get there, because they're more talented than every other team in the conference. Whereas the Big 12 is one giant amalgamated NFL-like mess where everybody is pretty equivocal with one another. So that, I told you, I refined my point. You and Otter opened my eyes. Maybe I was being a little too extreme. And then I was like, okay, well, let's dive in. Let's see why I'm so upset. And that is what I learned. Is that I'm upset is that Clemson is playing at a huge relative advantage every week, whereas Max Duggan and TCU are having to fight their dicks off. And that pisses me off that we're just going to say, oh, Clemson's better.
Were you
even
this
if both
fucking
teams go
mad
undefeated.
when Miami was running roughshod over the Big East? Were you this mad when Florida State was
No, I was like 12.
was the only fucking team in the ACC?
I didn't fucking do this job. No one don't give a fuck, dude.
What about when fucking USC was running through the Pac-12? It was USC and the Pac, and they were little brothers, what they called them, bro. It was like the Pac-9 or whatever they fucking called them.
I don't fucking know any of this shit. The SEC used to suck too. I don't know what to tell you, dude.
But
I'm
that's
talking
just the
about
reality
now.
of it, bro. You've had shitty league, good teams in shitty leagues forever.
Does that make it right?
It ain't their fault. What are they going to do?
Does that make it right?
What are they going to go yell at everybody in the league? How dare you fucking suck this year? You're fucking my opportunity to be a player. No, you just go win your fucking game.
Did I ever blame Clemson, or did I say I want Clemson to fucking lose? I'm a cocksmith.